Thank you, Janice. And thank you, NASI, for these reports. NASI has just played such a remarkably important role in providing good, solid analysis over the years to Social Security. You know, this is not a new discussion. We've been having a lot of this same discussion really for about 75 years now. If you go all the way back to the creation of Social Security, core elements of a dedicated payroll tax, a modest but a relatively progressive benefit structure, particular focus on vulnerable populations. The core framework of Social Security has been there now for 3 generations. But it's been presidents and Congresses working together over those 75 years that have time and again come back to ensure that those core features remain and remain strong. I remember, Janice, in 1983, when I was a young, well, actually I was not terribly young, but a young staffer back then, working for Senator Bill Bradley on the legislation, and he said publicly at that time that Social Security was the best expression of community that we have in America. And I think that that is so true. It is one of the things that holds us together in ways that, across generations, across income groups, in ways that's so important. It has for 3 generations. It will for 3 generations. But that takes work. That takes thought. It takes analysis, and it takes action. We think about that benefit structure, that modest benefit structure that Janice alluded to. It may be a modest benefit structure, but it's most of what the vast majority of older Americans have, and it's basically equivalent to about $250,000 annuity if someone was going to try to buy that benefit today. The disability benefit is worth about a $400,000 annuity, as NASI studies have shown. The life insurance benefit is crawling up towards a $500,000 in terms of the benefit of the life insurance component of Social Security. So the NASI studies have been there time and time again to try to document these things about how important this family protection plan is for Americans. And also kids, with 6.5 million kids being on Social Security and over 1 million being lifted out of poverty because Social Security. This is a system that the core notion of providing a foundation, particularly for those who are in need, has been central to this system. The table that you see here with the 5 circles, I'm guessing many of you are familiar with, but I think it's important just to spend a minute on that again. Social Security is part of that 3-legged stool, or some would say 4-legged stool, given retirement. But when one starts to look at that, even the middle group, that one in the middle right there, the Social Security still represents almost 2/3 of total income for the average older American. These charts, for those who are unaware, look at the total income. Ray's great work at within Social Security has been producing stuff like this for years and years. We start to get a sense about how important Social Security is, but we also, taking a look at that, you say, wait a minute, what's going on with the rest of those tiers in retirement? What's going on? And the green is Social Security, for those of you who aren't familiar with the graph, by quintiles. There is only Social Security for pretty much the bottom 2/5. You start to see other pieces, pensions starting to become roles, earnings, savings becoming a role as you're moving down into or moving up to the higher income groups. But there's a lot of pressure on every part of that income stool. That means that Social Security becomes all that more important when we start to think about the future generations.